Well, hi, good morning. Thank you so much for joining me in my shop. Today is April 23rd. It's been quite a few days since I've been in my shop. I generally I'm generally in here every day, so a little unusual that I have so many days off. And I'm going to have to start by describing the general situation here with the work I have on my bench. So there's 3 radios sitting on here right now. So the one I'm actually working on is this guy in the middle. This 100-year-old radio I set aside so I could work on this one for a day or two. So I'll probably finish this one today. Not sure of that. And in the meantime, this guy is showing up. Let me just tell you a little bit of story about this. I've already gone through this radio, fixed it up, and it was ready to go back to its owner. Actually, it's on its way to a resale store is where it's really going. This radio is here because it took a fall in somebody's home and didn't work afterwards, and so something is broken inside of it or something like that has happened. In the meantime, yesterday, this guy took a 7-foot fall to a concrete floor. Thank you, my cats. On the weekend we had my family here visiting, and along with them came 2 more cats. We had 5 cats in my house. And one of the things that suffered was this radio. It literally fell 7 feet to a concrete floor. And it smashed. It's all smashed up. So I thought I'd bring it in here so this broken radio could commiserate with this one briefly, but now you're going out of here. I'm gonna have to take a look at this another time. Unfortunately, maybe I'm lucky. Maybe all I have to do is glue it back together. And now also, to give you another idea of what's going on in my shop here, just look down at this thing. There's a ghost in my shop with a tail. Yeah, so that's going on all the time in here too. I've got two young cats. Got their shots yesterday at the vet, and they're going to have some parts removed in a couple of weeks. But shh, don't tell them that. Okay, there's one more piece of the story here of what's going on in my shop or on my bench and whatnot. I have another project that I set aside that I was working on before this, and that's a tube tester. I put quite a bit of time into it, and it wasn't going anywhere. I had another project to work on. I set it aside, and you know, when that happens in this kind of environment, those things that get set aside can stay aside for a long time. So of course, when people show up and ask me if I can fix their radio, I make them a priority. My own stuff takes a back seat, so that can kind of disturb the order of things here in the shop as I work on it. Okay, enough talk about that. What about this radio? So the last thing that was happening, I got a little bit of junk that made it into my shop here on the weekend just to... Okay. The last thing that happened here was I discovered the radio will come to life if I push on this capacitor here. And when a radio like this takes a fall, it hits the floor, the cabinet stops moving just like a car stops moving, but the occupants don't. And so the stuff inside, particularly if it's precarious, if it's heavy, if it's sticking out or protruding or in some kind of arrangement where it could experience a lot of force, parts can actually get ripped off the board, if you like. That's a little dramatic. I think if you're going to smash this thing hard enough to rip these parts off the board, the whole thing is going to be in little pieces. So, but if anything here is precarious, if anything's hanging on the edge, that might be just enough to knock it over the edge. So that's what I think has happened to this part. You can see it's a little bit loose. These smaller ones, this one feels a little loose too, but that's because of the way, you know, it has 2 leads going down like this, so it can bend this way quite easily, but won't tend to move this way. And that's what's going on with this one here. I don't know if that's loose, but I know I pushed on it and the radio came to life. Now it could be that something else has happened on this board And that's really the problem. This is not the problem, but by pushing on this, I'm activating or interfering with the defect in the radio, which could simply be a break on the board here somewhere. So I think it's pretty clear that you got to get the board out of here and examine it. And there's a huge difficulty with that, which I'm examining right now. That is, excuse me, if I take this board off, this string is going to go slack, and potentially I'm going to lose control of the string on here. Also, when I put it back together, there's a chance I won't get this in the right position. I don't know how it's done right now. If you don't get this in the right position, then the capacitor can be turned incorrectly for the tuning position on the front dial. Lots of problems can happen. See, this screw is painted here to ensure, I guess, the screw doesn't come loose, or that this doesn't move relative to the screw head. It's not a lot of paint, just a little bit. So my inclination is to try to figure out how to deal with this without taking the board off, without taking the risk of the string coming off, and then the risk of trying to put it back together. It's not impossible, but excuse me, it can be a lot of work to deal with these strings. A lot more than you might imagine. A lot of frustrating work. So what can I do with this? See, I would hope that this whole board is on a framework and the whole thing comes in one piece, but that's not the case. I'm sure of it. Am I sure of that? Am I sure of that? How sure am I of that? You know, I'm not sure of that. This would be a tricky thing to build inside the radio like this. Like this string got on here somehow. Somebody put it on, or I don't think it would be a mechanized thing. It'd be a person sitting in the stringing station, stringing these things all day. Poor guy. So if we look at the way the plastic is, it looks like it's just one continuous piece of plastic here. And so this part of the mechanism is on this piece of plastic here. It's a weird looking arrangement there. If you can see that. If you look right in here, it almost, see, like, it's a weird shape. I think a piece of plastic is missing from here. Well, it looks like a chunk is broken out of here. What would the implicate? I mean, that's hard to believe, but it does just look like a piece is missing there. It doesn't look like it was a factory thing. Did a piece fall out of here? I don't remember seeing a piece like that. Well, it may have fallen out, and it may have just fallen away, and I never saw it. Could even be on my floor now. You can see there's a post here, and a screw going into it. Often in these radios, these posts break. This one is actually cracked at the top. You know what? We're going to have to put the close-up camera on this in a moment and take a real good look at it. As for trying to work up underneath it there, like I'm picturing a soldering iron going up there. Yeah, I don't think so. It may be possible to release the board and like change its position a bit. Like I would want to flip it up and expose the bottom, but maintain this stuff. A couple ways to do that would be to somehow like tape down and attach the string here so it won't come off. So release the board. This piece is going to go with it, and so is this wheel. If you had this taped down enough, it would hang on to the string. The string tension would disappear. The string might fall off of these things. Okay. I'm just sort of trying to plan out my way forward here, what the least risky approach is to this. To what I just described, I could take the 3 remaining screws that are holding it in. For some reason, 1 screw is missing here. Oh, that's the broken one, isn't it? So this thing fell. This screw support broke. The screw fell out of it, and I think I did found a loose screw inside the radio. That would be this one. The other one's apparently held in. Can't really see. So take out the 3 remaining screws, and I can... The next problem with taking these boards out are the wires that attach to it. So you see this one's only so long, this one's got no play in it really. I go to tip it up. Actually, this one has a lot of play in it. This is the the antenna for the radio. It's just a wire running around the outside of it. So a lot of play there. This blue one, I don't feel like it has any play in it, but I don't think. I think I might be able to get away with that. Lift it up. How high? Just high enough, and no higher. There's a screw sitting here. So I guess when I took the cabinet screw out, this one just stayed in place. So this could drop out, and I could lose it pretty easy. No, it's not dropping out. Okay. As I remember, when I operated it, the radio did come completely to life. So the thought I just had was, well, you know, maybe this is a problem, but maybe there's 5 more of them here and there and everywhere, and I'm just not aware of it yet. This is the switch that the clock uses to turn the radio on and off. And this is loose because I've taken the screws out just in case. It's not loose because it got knocked loose. Okay, what am I not thinking of here? What am I not thinking of? That's one of the hardest things to try to realize what you're not aware of. There's a screw here holding this bracket, probably to the board, but it goes down towards the plastic here. Does it go into the plastic too? No, it does not. It has a nut under it, and it's painted. Okay, so that's going to stay on the board with that. That's a good thing. Some wires in the back here. Wires on the end. And of course the string here. So I really can't be doing this. Can't be doing that. Looks like I could do this. I could lift it up and hold it up here. I just have to figure out how to, I don't think it's too difficult, just get a lot of tape and tape this down so the string doesn't come off the big wheel. The string falls off here, it's not the end of the world. The slider is going to hold it a little bit. Comes loose in here. All these things I can manage back. But coming off the big wheel is the problem. Too much string comes off. You get too much play, too much looseness, and everything comes off. Yeah. Okay, I think it's enough rehearsal. I think my coffee pot should be ready now, so I'm going to drink a little coffee, and then we're going to decide what to do here. Okay, after drinking a bit of coffee, I think the best thing I could do before I do anything else is turn the radio on and make it come to life again, because I only did that momentarily the last time around, and I may have reached a premature conclusion from a lack of taking time to make observations. Okay, so where's our volume control here? Ooh, 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 ooh. This is a big crack here. This is cracked right off. It's going to break. Just a little tiny thin piece holding it. So don't prop it on its corner. That's the bottom, Jim. What am I doing? This is the volume control. Duh. Okay, volume down, and I think everything looks safe. This is my first. This is your first video watching. Is this the first ever video you've ever watched? If this is the first video of mine you've watched, keep your eye on these lights. See what happens. nothing happened. That's perfectly good. I won't explain any of that. The radio's making noise. This is the, after the drop, this is what the radio did. Now I discovered, just by luck, yeah, you know what? I don't think there's any doubt. It's this component. So what's either happened is the component has, the capacitor, well that's even further proof that the clicking you hear. The capacitor lead has broken inside the capacitor. Like maybe then the radio fell. This would be the solder lead coming out of the capacitor here. When the board, when the radio fell, the capacitor jerked like this, and it just broke the very weak connection that might be in there, or the lead has been pulled out of the board slightly. These things are usually flow soldered. They're not hand soldered, and so they have a bath of solder, and they put all the components on it, and they run this through the bath, and most of the parts get soldered. And often at this age, I think in this vintage, a person would then inspect it very carefully with a soldering iron and touch up little bits and pieces here and there. But one of the problems with doing the flow soldering is smaller items heat up faster, solder better. Bigger items heat up slower, solder worse. And if you were alive in the 1990s, you might remember black television sets, big old style televisions, big black sets. All of them lasting only a couple or 3 years and then failing. All those sets, even though they might have said RCA on the label, they're all coming from one factory, somewhere far away in the world, made by a company called Thomson. And they all had the flow soldering, and they all had flow soldering problems, and they all failed due to large components failing to solder in well, and eventually working loose on the board. They all failed this way. So not surprising that something that fell to the floor should have a similar sort of failure in it. Okay, so I've talked myself completely into the idea that this capacitor is the problem. Now, from the top of the board, I have an option here. It's really ugly, and that's just to leave this as it is and rip this off the top of the board. Literally rip it off, and pray that the leads that are sticking up can be worked with. Now, I mean, this is a long shot. I'm not about to do this, okay, but it's a possibility. We already know one lead is broken or is poorly soldered, and then trying to affect the solder underneath the board by applying heat on the top, and so the heat flows down the wire and underneath. You know, you can get away with that maybe, but probably not, and so that's not a very good option. I'd have this board off here already if it wasn't for the string. So I'm giving myself time to think hard about this. Because the other thing too is even with all the thinking you might do, you might not think of everything. Then you start doing something and you get into a jackpot, which is a situation where you're not going to get out. You get into it easy, but you're not going to get out. You're not going to get out easy. And that could be one of anything. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to loosen the board off, leave the screws in, just loosen the board. Ooh, that didn't sound good. Yeah, it's okay. Sometimes when you do these screws, especially tightening them up, you'll break the post that I was pointing to. They'll break. If you over tighten these things, these seem okay. Third one. This will allow me to kind of move the board around a little bit and not risk having the string, because I haven't done anything about the string yet. Ooh, this is on. Okay. So I'm going to look at the board a little bit. Okay, so everything seems to be just the way I thought it was. Now we've got to figure out a way to freeze the string on here. Looks like I have an interesting opportunity to do like a wire wrap thing around here instead of trying to tape it on. I kind of like that idea. just get some of this kind of stuff. So when you take this off, the string tension will disappear, and then the floppy string will do stuff. I don't know how effective that's going to be. Tape might be better, you know. That's better. Do I have another one of those? I usually hang on to that kind of stuff just for these purposes. So the main thing I want to do is I want to keep the string in the groove here. That's my objective. By the way, if you're a new viewer, and there's a 50-50 chance you are, actually a better chance you are, I'm not showing you, the right way to do these things. I'm not trying to put educational videos on YouTube. I'm not saying, hey, this is the way to do it. I'm the master. No, you can think of me as a guy who knows enough to get into big trouble, and then can figure his way out of the trouble he's gotten himself into. That's kind of how things operate here quite often. You may be seeing an example of it right now, of me getting into trouble. That's right. So also, if you're new, you should be forewarned that these are live, essentially unedited videos. And I say things that aren't true, that are incorrect, because guess what? I'm wrong. And I also, sometimes I may intend to say red, but the green will come out of my mouth, and I won't even realize that's happened. So, as I say quite often, you need to have your own thinking cap on when you're watching these videos. Okay. Just loose. Okay, so the next step would be to lift the board right up and see how high up in the air we can get it, whether we can see underneath it. How high do I have to get it in order to solder? Is this really the right angle to work on now? This radio will sit like this. That gives me a pretty good view right up under the part involved. If I just peel it away there. Okay, well, we're going to take, this screw's already gone, take this one right out here. The other two screws then can resist the board from moving too far, which might be advantageous. Where's the magnet here? There's the screw. Okay, I'm putting it right there. Don't anybody forget where I put that screw. How far can we move the board now? How far can we? What's holding it back? Just the screws, the other two screws. So we're going to loosen those. Maybe the board can't sort of can't fold back the way I'm thinking unless these screws are right out. I don't want to take them right out yet. Oh, there we go. Well, this screw came right out over here. String is doing okay. We're doing okay here. You notice I've unplugged it, and I try to follow this rule. This is a rule in all the power environments or electrical environments. You need a visible, you need to be able to visibly see the separation in the supply circuit. So I'm looking at the plug here. Not rely on switches. Do not rely on switches. People throw switches. Okay, so this can, if I loosen that other screw right out, in fact, I'm going to lose the screw in a moment here. Let me get that magnet back. A little awkward here. I don't think I can get it. Okay, just leave it there. There's a nice strong but I didn't have any words to follow it. There we go. We don't want to just mess up the string here. Looks okay. How far out can you come? What's holding it? That's got to be enough to do the work. Okay, we're going to get in there and get a real close look after I go and gulp some more coffee. Okay, let's switch to the closer up camera here. We're going to take a look. I'm going to try to actually see the back of that big capacitor and see if I can't actually see it wiggle. Where is it? It's way down in there. I got no idea what you're seeing on the screen. I'm just looking at the camera itself, trying to get it worked in here. Oh, what was that? What was that I just heard? What was it? Maybe the other screw falling out? I don't know. Okay, let's see what we're looking at there. I will wiggle the part. You see anything moving? I don't see a thing. The whole board is moving a bit. So in the top left corner is a large blob of solder, fairly well in focus, and there's a wire in it. And you can see the solder is not 100% on it there. I think that's it. Wait a minute. Let me be a little more aggressive here. Gotta get a good hold of the board. Well, okay, so maybe I'm not looking at it. Maybe it's not in view on the camera. If anything, it's farther in. Let's try in there. Okay, so this hasn't worked. Let me see if I can. What I'm going to do is the way I can locate these things through a board is I hold on to them on the top with one hand, and that helps my brain realize where the bottom must be. And I think it's this lead, and you're nowhere near it. I think it's here. I think it's up in this area. And we're back to this. Get this white wire out of here. Okay, again, pointing to what I think it would be in this area here. You see a large, like this lead is sticking out a long ways. That's a giveaway that it's a large part up above. If you hear a tick-tock sound, that's my water meter. Counting water. If you look, this is interesting, you look up here, what does that look like right there where I'm pointing, and up here too? Does it look like it's cut through? Even here's a bit of a mark. So occasionally, and I'm not saying that's the case here, these boards are made for different models of the radio, and the way they maybe one model's more advanced than the other, has more components in it functioning, and they can cut these strips here to turn stuff on and off. But I fat chance that's the case. Wow, does that ever look like a cut there? You know, it's the thing. You know what it is? I know what it is. It's the flow back of the solder. So maybe they hand soldered this. This wasn't done in a solder flow tank, and somebody just put the soldering iron on to put this part on, and they draw the soldering iron back along the copper, and it pulls back the solder. You can see the same thing here. Then they stop here at this point, so there's a small area of just unsoldered stuff. That's what that is. That's not a cut. That'd be crazy. Don't be crazy, Jim. Okay, now back to what I was trying to do. It's got to be right in here. So nothing moving underneath here at all. I don't see anything. I'm looking for a little wire wiggle. It looks like this is moving a little bit. So this would suggest the fault is in the capacitor itself. You know, based on my earlier crazy description of this stuff. Now the fact is, I could easily get a soldering iron in here now, and I could desolder this, and I'm going to guess the other lead. Don't guess. The other lead is going to be based on the way the capacitor wiggles. I'd say the other lead is below. So if we're guessing this is one, below is this way, down here somewhere. Let's see if I can get this out of there. Yeah, okay. Well, that's the camera looking into the radio there. So I'm going to put the soldering iron down this way, and I can release that one blob we're looking at. See if the capacitor releases. I have a better shot at the other one. Which connection is the other lead? Okay, let me get that set up here. Okay, soldering iron's hot. I should have practiced this before, but I think I'll be okay. Practiced it with a cold soldering iron, so just looking not through the camera. I don't want to hit any of these wires on the way in. Okay, what's it look like on the camera? Whoops. What's it look like on the camera? Looks like I'm getting close to the spot. Here we go. I think this is the one here. That's definitely the one. Now, I can't get it out because the other one is soldered. That's the trick of these things. You have to kind of desolder both. I think this is the other one. Let's see. Nope. It's not. Now the camera wander off here. So it's tricky doing these things on camera like this. Actually, I tend to not show this kind of detail anymore because of the problem with doing it. Okay, now we have the one there. I think this might be the other one here. Maybe not. Is this one here? That's definitely it. You know what I got? I forgot. I've got my solder braid here. Duh. Okay, here comes that. Somebody just walked right across my keyboard there. Yes, somebody walked on my keyboard. And there he is. There's the culprit right there. You know, I got a hot soldering iron in my hand here, cat. And you know what he's doing? I've noticed that my cats, they smell stuff, but they cannot tell where it's coming from. They're really bad at it. Like, they smell some food, they come around, they sniff everywhere, but they cannot locate it. That's what's happening to him now. He's smelling this soldering iron. Oh, on his way. You'd think cats have some kind of directional smell system, especially with their fancy looking nostrils, but mine sure don't. Or maybe they're too young. They haven't learned yet how to work the nose. Okay, back. I'm gonna try to stick in the. He's gone away. Where'd he go? Oh, he's probably coming back. Stick in the stuff here. Oh! Is the camera not showing the right spot anymore? Right there. Okay, braid in, iron in. Here comes the cat again. I can't really see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'll look up at the camera and see. Oh my gosh, I'm getting solder from everywhere under the sun here. Okay, don't really know what I did. What did I do? Did something. Let's see what happened. So it looks like this greatly reduced the amount of solder there. Is it wiggling yet? It does not wiggle. Let's see if I can make this into a cold solder joint. So I'm just gonna kind of melt the solder and then wiggle the wire. And then, no, it grabbed it again. Okay, but it's pretty clear to me which one must be the other. It's got to be this one here, right? Wow, it just doesn't do anything to the capacitor. Well, okay, maybe it's this one. Oh, that was off camera. So I have to rely there. That's a little better. That's got things a little better for the camera's position. Okay, well, what did I just do? Oh, this is really loose now. This capacitor. How to get this loose? Let's see if I can pull it out now. It feels like only one lead is held on. Nope. This is the other lead here. I think I got him now. I got him. He's out. And guess what? Guess what? Let me switch cameras here. What do we find? It's a, let me get this focus to come here. It's a one lead capacitor. So it looks like the lead probably failed inside the capacitor. When I was rocking it and it was coming on, it was shoving the lead in and out of the capacitor a little tiny bit. Okay, I think that's pretty good confirmation. This is a 500 microfarad 25 volt capacitor, so I will grab one of those and we will stick it in. I realized how lucky I am, in fact, because I didn't think of something while I was taking that part out and just grabbing a replacement here. This is 470 microfarads, 25 volt. 470 microfarads, 25 volt, a little difference in the size. So that'll be what goes in. What I forgot to do was take note of the polarity of this. But luckily, because it's come out with only one lead, it's going to be pretty obvious which way it goes in. So here we can see the little negative indicator here pointing at that. So the negative side should be open. The negative side, isn't that usually the longer one? No, shorter one. And so I'm going to want this to be roughly the same width too. Doesn't really matter because it's much shorter. That's no problem. Problem is the lead that's been left behind. Now that should be sticking up. Shouldn't it be sticking up? Let's take a look. We'll switch to the other camera. We'll go see if we can spot the lead. Spot the lead. I think I see something down there. Well, I can see through one hole. That's good. I think I can see through it. Let's see, put my hand behind it here. Whoops. Maybe not. That may be soldered over. No problem though. Should be able to, because I know what hole that came out of. Where are we? Yeah, I'm waving my finger behind the hole and you can't see anything happening, so I think that's just solder there. The other one's got the lead. So what do I do about the lead? Gotta get it out of there. So grab it from the top here with a pair of pliers and pull it out by desoldering on the bottom. And again, I'm not so sure I know what it is I need to melt on the bottom. So the camera is held normally right now. So down is down. So down will be down. I think I'm okay here. I just need a little more light. Maybe that would help. Add some more light on this situation here. Okay. First, so step one, pull that little bit of wire out. Step two, clear the holes. Right. And step three, push in the part with the right polarity. Let's get that really clear in my head right now, because once I pull that wire out, you know what'll happen. The tidbit of wire, let me look with my own eyeballs, not through the camera. Tidbit of wire's on the bottom. Tidbit on the bottom. Tidbit is the positive. Positive on the bottom. Let me just pick my other camera up from the floor. Somehow it made it to the floor. And I lost track of what I was just saying. just that fast. Don't concentrate, man. I find in the modern world here, I think it's the effect of the modern world and things we do where we're changing topics like this. You know, watching those things on the internet that go by so quickly, the little short 5-second videos and stuff like that. Our brain gets used to doing this, switch, switch, switch. And what happens is you give your brain an opportunity to switch. It's so practiced at it, it switches. And it's hard to hang on to a steady thought for any length of time. For example, that's exactly what's happening right now. What am I doing? Right. I'm just rehearsing this to make sure I know. Positive is the one with the wire. Positive is the one on the bottom. Pulling the wire out. Okay, let me get a pair of pliers here. This might be tricky too. The reason I'm really going over this polarity thing is that I have a knack of getting these things backwards. So I better rehearse again. Positive on the bottom. How am I going to do this? I can't get my hand low enough here. Let's get the right angle. Grab it again. Okay, I have it. Soldering iron. How am I going to do this? It's out. That didn't hurt a bit, did it? That's what the vet said to my cat after giving my cats 6 needles, 3 each. Positive on the bottom. Okay, now, so we'll start this in the hole here with the long lead on the bottom. Yeah, it's blocked by solder, so we'll unblock it. So I just broke a little rule there. I have a soldering iron rule that I use when I'm holding the soldering iron. It's because I'm soldering things. And if I'm doing something else with the soldering iron hand, I put the soldering iron back in the grip. I try to not do what I just did, which is kind of throw the soldering iron off to the side, you know, in your hand and then do something. Because sooner or later, that's not going to pay off. There we go. As easy as can be. Okay, now we got to get the other wire in the other hole. I'm doing it again. Okay, there we are. Soldering iron back in the grip. Hole. Negative one on the top, positive one on the bottom. I'm doing it. I gotta do it this time. Right there. Come through. These come through. Okay, we'll push them in. Just want to fold fold these over a little bit. That way the part won't fall out. And we do the final soldering here. Am I coming in? Now the thing is, I may have bunked up some other solder in here without. I did a couple of blind moves while I was doing this. My soldering iron's gone off. This isn't going well. How come? How about the soldering iron's cold? Okay. There she goes. Let's go in there again. And the other one. Oh boy. I don't know what happened there. I don't know how good that came out. Let's get the other camera going. Take a look. Put it in this way here. That one doesn't look very good. Just hoping I didn't mess up other solders. I'm going to wiggle the part I just put in. Oh yeah, I missed entirely. The other end's good. One end's good. The other end, you know what it looks like? It looks like the trace got pushed up. Don't exactly. Yeah, I could have done that. That's probably what happened. I pushed the wire through. The solder didn't give way, and the wire come through the trace. Instead, the trace gave way off the board and lifted up. That's no problem though. I just push it back. Just push it back. This time I'll watch with my soldering iron. When the internet was brand new, and you know, I realized the string has come off the big wheel in the meantime here. Oh my God, come on. When the internet was pretty new, one of the earliest things I read on the internet was something somebody wrote, goodness knows why. I'm just gonna try to get this camera in here. There. Called the soldering iron of justice. It's just a crazy nonsensical paragraph. Literally one of the first things I read on the internet. I was kind of amazed. Why soldering iron? Okay. Really very awkward here. The flashing light is exactly that, a flashlight. Okay. Here we go. I've got to I can't see what I'm doing. At the front of my magnifiers maybe. Come on, flashlight. There. Ah. Now we got it. It's probably too bright on the camera, but I can't help that. Okay, I think I got the wire that time. Let me adjust the camera's focus a little bit and we'll be able to see better what has happened here. Wow. So did I solder it down to the other trace it should not be in contact with? How am I going to nip that wire? It doesn't look very well soldered, does it? So the long piece of wire here can act like a heat sink, and you'll heat up the blob quick, but the wire will stay cool longer. Well, I'd say it's soldered on there. It's moving relative to the board. I can bend it up a little bit. Oh, shoot. getting a little late in the morning here. And what time is it actually? It's 11 o'clock in the morning now. So the question is, it's going above another trace. Is it actually contacting it? And I wouldn't want to turn on the radio and find out that way. Here. Oh, I see the problem. It's caught on this wire. There, that's going to go better. There we are. Okay, camera was caught on a wire. Now we're going to flex this wire pretty close. Let me grab it and bend it upwards. So come into the well, it's not stuck to it. That's good. Now we'll come in with the nippers. We'll nip that away. Where's my lighter pliers here? Okay. This is usually where you cut the wrong wire. Now, I may have cut away the soldered part. It may be unsoldered now. Woo! Looking in the camera, holy smokes. It does have that look, doesn't it? Let me just fix the focus a little more here. Ooh. Let's try autofocus. No. Well, it looks like it's not soldered now. But let me just wiggle it a little wee bit. So you see it's not moving. So it is actually soldered, but wow, that's just not good enough. Okay, so we're going to go in for another solder run. Solder run, and we're going to need a little more solder. Okay, so solder in first. I just sort of going to have to just kind of hope I haven't undone other soldered connections by accident while I've been doing this kind of stuff. Get on the wire now. I have to make the there. Soldering iron has to touch the wire. I think I got it there. Okay, let's wiggle. Give it a chance to get solid. Well, I think it's soldered in there. The next thing is turn this radio on. See what happens. That's the next step. But first, I'm gonna go and drink a little coffee here. Then we're gonna give it a try. Okay, I think we're just about ready to try the we'll put that there. Down with the cat. After all, I started this video by saying somebody knocked a radio down. Was it you? Did you do it? Hey, you. Did you do it? Are you the bad man? The bad guy? Actually, you're not a man. You're a kitten. You're a kitten. No, you can't come up on me right now. We're going to try this guy out. As usual, I'm trying to delay it. This is where the rubber hits the road. The truth, let it be known. Did this work? So, okay, so I believe the radio's on. And as soon as I hit the power, we are going to hear it. Here we go. I think that's working. Now, the wheel's been dislodged. So, yeah, that's it. That's enough. Ooh, what was that pop? I don't know. Put that away. The string, now we got to deal with the string problem. Oh, for crying out loud, cat, what are you trying to do? He's trying to work his way through here. Per machine. You don't want to be up here? Here, go up here. You're a cat. You can walk among that stuff. Let me just turn off this solder. Excuse my reach here. I'm just going to make that a little bit safer for Kitty. Okay, now what to do next. Obviously I just have to close this guy up very carefully and try to make sure the string doesn't disengage any further than it has. It's come off here. It's on over here. What? I'm sorry, my cat is asking for affection. You got yourself under this wire here, cat. Tail down. Yes, it's a cat break. Little do they know, in 2 weeks. Come on, okay, where are you going? There he goes. You really want to come up here, do you? He's not that much of a kitten anymore. He's gotten awfully long. Oh, you see those? Yeah, they won't be there soon. Yeah. What's this got to do with the radio? Nothing, but too many of you send me emails and say, you know, you love my cats, or your wives run in to see the cats. Honey, come see the cats. You're there. This is Bert. It's short for filbert, which is a type of nut. His brother is Wally, which is short for walnut, which obviously is a type of nut. You see, I'm sure this is having a good effect for you who are watching this, because this is what is saving my wife and I from going totally nuts about what's happening in the world. Even though, as I tell my wife regularly, we live locally. We live in the house here, we live in Aurelia, the city of Aurelia. We have neighbors and friends and relatives, and that's what we live with. All that stuff that gets pumped in on the TV, that's all very artificial stuff. I mean, I hate to say it, even the video you're watching now, although this isn't very artificial, is it? Because you're seeing what's, you know, there's no editing, and there's no program here as such. But much of our lives, we tend to have them wrapped up in what we've heard about or seen, you know, in media and stuff. And it's easy to lose the perspective that, in fact, what's really the issue is what's going on your property, in your neighborhood, and locally. That's certainly true for people who don't have piles of money. That's us. We don't have piles of money. We don't have stock investments and stuff like that we're freaking out about. We're not like that. We're just ordinary people here with wonderful cats. You know, I get back to work, but I'm just, you know, this is just too good. I think we were really lucky. Like we were going to get 2 cats. We got 2 brothers here, as you know. They love each other, and it's just really helping us along in life. Except I had to pay the vet bill, which was really crushing. Vets are very expensive. Really, they kind of got you over a barrel. Yeah. This could go on for hours. Okay, I'm going to put him down. I'm going to put you down. He doesn't want to go. I'm stuck here. This could go on for hours. I got to put you down now. Okay, you're going down. There you go. I'm going to open the door here for you. You can go out, go see your brother, or do something else. Okay, there we are. I'm emotionally readjusted. That's the term my parents used for people who weren't really straight and narrow. They'd say, "Oh, he's a poorly adjusted man." Boy, I can think of a poorly adjusted man. That's for sure. Okay, so screw here is broken. Screw here is not. Let's try driving this one in to pull the board up. Don't worry about this. Well, try to do everything. Let's try to do everything all at once. The string has lost a lot of tension because it's pulled off this upper pulley here. So keep that in mind. We'll just leave it like this, and the string is not under tension, which is good. I think is good. Try to slide this in. I think that's the spot right there. I haven't got this really in the right way to do this. Let's put it normal. Yeah, this is a little easier. Oops. Go in there. My screwdriver's magnetic. There it goes. Is it going in anything? It's not going into anything. I'm screwing it into nothing. I'm screwing it into the air. This alignment. Oh, I see. There's the spot here. I saw before how the alignment was right here. There we are. No. It's these darn Phillips screws. There we go. That went in. There we are. So the board is in place. We're ready for another test. Forgot to pull the plug. There we go. Good. Okay. Now, the deal is just to get the string on again. And it looks real easy. It looks easy. Must be this one.
I'm heading out, Jim.
Okay, bye. There we go. That was my wife's debut on my videos. After 10 years, I think that's the first time. So the string is kind of funny here, but as you operate it, it'll kind of settle back down. But I'm going to push it just to get it here. Okay. Seems fine. All seems good. Okay, let's put another screw in. Wasn't it this one that was broken? Not this one. This one was good back here. Go back there. Yeah, it's only 10 or 12 years I've been making these videos, and I think my wife's voice has never, ever appeared on a video till just now. The other screw is actually sitting there waiting still. He's in. Okay, we'll take the string guards off. Don't know if they really helped that much. I think they did. Because if you've got a couple of wraps around here, and the whole thing comes off and just spills out onto your bench. It looks like a simple matter. There we are. What looked like a simple matter can actually be a monstrous thing. Monstrous, I tell you. Okay, did we actually succeed? Let's see. Volume down, power on, volume up. was going really good there. I bumped the volume. I have other radios where the volume control is kind of incorporated or near the tuning control, and you end up, as you're tuning it, keep bumping the volume control. And, not the best arrangement. There we are though. She works. This is AM. Not much to hear. We'll go to FM. Lay it on the line. Pump the volume again. Perfect. She's working. Okay, best thing I can do is stop right here and rejoice for a while before I go to put it back in the cabinet and find out there's something more wrong with it. So I'm going to enjoy the moment here for a while. You might not know it from that clock, but quite a bit of time has gone by. It's after lunch now. And what I've realized is, as I've been cleaning up and working on the cabinet here, this guy here. So this is glued in place because it's broken, and the solution was to just to glue it in. So there it is. But what's it there for? It is a control knob for controlling this switch on the top of the clock. And for sure this is going to be on, off, an alarm, something like that, or on, off, and wake up, or something of that sort. How do I know for sure that this is in the position it needs to be in? Because once I put the cabinet back together, there's no accessing this. So every time I've turned the radio, I turn this on, the music has come right on. So I think this is in the on position. Well, how do you turn this on and off? If you is it right here? No, I think it's this switch. Oh, that's a bit of a quandary. How is this being operated? This isn't even, I don't think this is even the right kind of knob, because you look at the size of the hole here. It's gigantic. And it's a little puny guy coming up here. Have I got this right? Maybe I haven't reasoned this out right. It sure looks like I got it right. It's going right there. And then the only way to access this would be through the top. And what else would they have a knob there for? It's on, off. Right. Good. Somehow I forgot. Yes, there's an on-off switch, Jim. So this would be more like an override switch. So if you can turn it on and off with this, then this is in the right position. Unless it's in the alarm position and someday this reaches the alarm setting, it'll turn the radio on. I just don't think I moved this. And without actually running it through a whole, I don't know, I got to get it reset the time here, and well, that would do it right there. Just do this. I can see the switch actually. You can see the switch operate. Click. So this would be on, and that would be off. Now, the switch may operate, but this may be overriding it. So let's try this. Let's try this out. Everything okay here? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so we're going to turn it, it's off. Apply power. Okay, the light's on, radio light's not on. Turn this. We'll try and turn this that way. Okay, we'll try to turn it this way. There is only one way. Some glue on it here. Maybe somebody tried to, I don't know what to say. Turn it all the way? I did not. Okay, it goes quite a distance. But nothing's happening. The radio's not coming on, nothing's happening. So let's put it back to where it was. Seems to like this spot. Like it really pops into place. Okay, we'll now head to the future. It did not come on. That could be that maybe you need this on, and then this cuts it off until it lets it come on. So you can always turn the radio off with this. That would make some sense. That would mean if I turn it on and then I work the switch will turn it off. This is I believe this is in the off position. Let's try it. Radio's on. And this would interrupt the onness. So it's interrupted the onness again. So now we turn around here when we get to the setting time. Then turn this all the way. It's never coming on. Let's say I've got this backwards from what it really is. Keep turning here. Oh, I saw the arm go up. Well, maybe this switch has been hobbled. So watching the switch lever, it's out. It just shoved it. This always works. Okay, don't know what's going on. That's fine though. It's working in a way that the radio can certainly be used. Okay, so bottom line is no concern about this or this. Just put it all together. Okay, good. Because I've learned to be very, very cautious, I'll try cleaning stuff like this with just water to start with. Water, the universal solvent. Here we go. You can see what's already happening though. You see the brown color kind of matches the cover. And some kind of, something has been spilled on it in the past. You can see this area that I cleaned just with a little bit of vigor. Removed part of the, I don't know, what is a darker covering that's on here, whatever it is. So basically the bottom line is minimal cleaning on this one, and or the improvement's going to be undermined. I cleaned the front face of it with a product that's really intended for automobile headlights. So a lot of products that are made for cleaning cars and dashboards and all that kind of stuff work very good on radios like this. So okay, I still have to put some screws in. Just wanted to show you that. Even though this is plastic, it still can suffer damage that you might not imagine would happen. Nothing is ever as simple as you expect it to be. So I'm just putting in the last screws here. And you can see the top part and the bottom part. And you can see the hole has a slot. Here too, there's a slot. It's not a hole, it's a slot. Well, you can see I started putting the screw in here when I realized what's happening. There's nothing for the screw to really hang on to. Why did they make a slot here? Well, I think maybe that's part of what happened when this took its fall. Perhaps it broke through all three of these. It's a little hard to believe, but there's just nothing here. I mean, excuse me, you can't imagine you're supposed to screw this down so tight. That's going to grip it. I'll put some washers in here. And maybe even kind of a lock washer might be helpful under the screw. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Okay, let me hunt around. Okay, after a lot of searching, I found 3 small washers and 3 these lock washers. Those are really meant to hold the screw from turning, but that's not what I'm interested in here. I want the screw to grip the plastic. So it's a different matter. So the way I want to do this, start right in the center here. Put one like this. Put this little washer on top. And I'm thinking this is going to grip. A tiny, tiny screw. Maybe not. Oh yeah. too tight. Okay, let's get the other ones in there to help out. Just step aside there a bit. Stripped. Wouldn't be surprised. We'll try this one. That one feels better. It's good. Good. No. So, this one's not biting at all. Okay, so we're going to put another screw in there. I got to find a screw now that's just a wee bit bigger than this one. Okay. I'll go scrounging some more. Okay, let's give this guy a try here. Well, that's good. Good. Okay, I think that'll hold together. Once the knobs are on, they are actually like a sort of like a what would you call that? They're almost like a safety device in a sense. The bottom can't fall out with the knobs sticking out there. Okay. Good. Cat fur on the outside. Not on the inside. Very good. Well, we'll put the knobs on and we'll see how it goes. I don't have any special drum roll effects, but here we go. I'm always a little nervous when I first power one of these guys up. Here we go. Okay, so the light is very dull, of course. It's really a night light. So here in the shop, it's pretty hard to see. What if I dose this? I'm not sure how the cameras will respond to that. Okay, volume down, power on, volume up. So far so good. Tuning.
You're on the hunt for the biggest Lloyds fans, and you can win.
Pointer's got a funny wiggle in it.
Mais encore là, comme analyste politique, peut-être que les gens se disent, ben, non, moi je parle de M. Trump, au contraire, je parle profondément de M. Poilievre, parce qu'au fond, la dichotomie, c'est ça. Ouais. Vous voulez parler évidemment du sujet.
So, the power cord is forming the antenna to some degree. I think if it were stretched right out, it'd be best off. But, that's not bad there. Pretty sure they're talking about our election, which is coming in just a couple of days.
On the way, carpenter now, bad cam, Barry's hit music.
Barry's hit music. Barry is a big city, just a short distance from where I live. Well, that's fantastic. So I think the owner would be happy to see that his radio is back to life again. And for me, it was horseshoes, for sure. And it's not the first time I've been saved by horseshoes and doing these repairs. So what comes next is I'm going to get back to the 100-year-old radio here. And we have some interesting things to look at with that radio. And I'm still not hopeful to make this old guy actually work, but I wasn't hopeful when I started this. Oh, we also have to look at the other radio which took a dive. Yeah. Well, that's not an urgent thing. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and see you on the next video.